Welcome back to Tournament Fighters Genesis. So yeah, we saw the bad ending. So in order to see the true ending, you have to put the maximum level of difficulty on 8. You can still keep the continues on maximum if you want, though. That doesn't change anything.
That's nice.
Oh, okay, so it's not like how you have to fight Akuma in Street Fighter 2, where you have to meet the special requirements, just beat me on the hardest difficulty.
Mm-hmm.
Okay.
I get the feeling, since they knew that a lot of American kids were going to be playing this, they didn't want to make things too difficult. All right, so now this time.
Ever on arcades by any chance?
No. These fighters were exclusive to the NES, Super NES, and Genesis. Specifically, this version is the Genesis version, and only on Genesis.
I noticed you were toggling the speed and power of your character.
I was. However, for this one, I'm gonna keep KZ on 4-4 since that's the most normal way you play.
That's so BS. He was dizzy and he just got up just as you were about to.
Notice what I just said to the AI.
Yeah.
Notice how Clone Leo was jumping like mad.
Yeah.
And then Clone Leo beat you, huh?
Kawabanga. I wanted to show off the Kawabanga, so I could have beaten him, but I wanted to show off the Kawabanga because it's hilarious. I kind of wish there would be some kind of thing that brings this bit back, because it's kind of fun. The idea of having clone turtles is kind of interesting. I'm just surprised they don't do this more often in Turtles media.
Technically, Fast Forward had evil turtle clones.
Ah, okay. Do they say Kawabanga?
No.
Ah.
How obscure is this game in the grand scheme of things?
This game always gets both this and the NES version, especially the NES version, always get overshadowed by the SNES version, which is the more popular one.
Oh, what does the SNES version do?
We're going to do that after this. It's an overall more solid fighting game, mechanically speaking. It's just that I don't find it to be as good of a TMNT fighting game as this, specifically because my thing with the SNES version, it's technically a better fighting game, but let me put it this way. And yes, if you throw on certain events, you get to a lower floor. Let me put it this way.
Hey, Nick All-Stars Battle 2. Here's a better skin to use for April than those lame reskins.
Maybe a yellow skin, to reflect her look from the 80s show as well. That could be one of the many alternate skins you could use.
No. She does. No. It's her default outfit is the 80s.
Oh, okay then. Go on then.
Yeah, I was talking about an alternate costume in Nick All-Stars Battle 2.
Sure.
Because her default outfit is the yellow.
Do they have a white collared one to match her scientist outfit from the Mirage comics?
Oh no, I know we posted on the blue.
I don't recall one. The thing is, while a lot of other characters get literally distinct different costumes, April just gets recolors. That's the issue.
Apparently, Garfield was meant to have a turtle costume that was referenced to that one comic.
But it got cut.
Yeah.
But yeah, like I was...
It's in the data. It's people data mined the game. Like, oh.
So, Dej, that review of TMNT X Street Fighter.
Oh, right, I forgot.
Yeah, so I read all 5 issues. It's bad.
Well, that's a shame.
That bad, huh?
So basically, my understanding is they were only limited to a certain amount of characters that they could use. So on the Turtles front, it was the 4 turtles plus Janika, the female turtle, Baxter Stockman, and Shredder. Whereas on the Street Fighter side, it was Ryu, Ken, Chun-Li, Guile, and M. Bison. Mm-hmm. That was all they could use.
And what was the overall plot with the cast so small?
Basically, Bison and Stockman held a fighting tournament so they can gather the strongest or people with enough who are equivalent for psycho energy to power a psycho bomb.
That sounds a lot similar to the plot of the SNES version of this. But yeah,
it's like they were just kidnapping people to power a psycho bomb, and Bison was interested the most in Wrath because his anger and temper made him the perfect candidate to channel in the most psycho energy.
Yeah. I can see that.
Yeah, that turns out that Stockman kept warning him, don't use the turtles, because anytime they're involved, something bad happens.
But, going back to this game, though, see, my thing about the SNES game is that it feels a lot like a Street Fighter clone with turtle characters put in. But like, if you took a look at the actual presentation, the storyline, it feels very Street Fighter-ish and not at all TMNT-ish. Like, it's just, oh, Channel 6 is throwing in a tournament for some reason, and that's it. And the characters always spot very draw lines, and the backgrounds that you're fighting in, the stages that you're fighting in, don't even remotely resemble anything TMNT related. They're just generic fighting game stages that are clearly inspired by Street Fighter. They even have a lot of people in the background cheering, like in the Street Fighter games, you know. But it doesn't feel very TMNT-ish. I guess that's my thing with that game. Whereas this game does take a lot more from the franchise, and it takes place in Dimension X. It presents a lot more creative stages in. So I find this one more memorable to me personally because it feels much more TMNT-ish in its presentation. Although, as a lot of people will tell you, technically the better fighting game is the SNES one. It's just that I prefer this one because it feels more TMNT-ish. That's the basic gist of it.
More fighting games should just copy Killer Instinct.
Because this one, despite taking stuff from Street Fighter, it still feels unique enough. Even like it's more about the game, but this one still feels like it's like unique enough. It doesn't feel like it's a blatant Street Fighter clone. I will argue that, like for example, to give you an idea, in the tournament mode of the SNES game, you even have an equivalent of the car, of the demolishing the car stages, except you do it with money safes, money bins, basically. It feels so derivative of Street Fighter, and that's not necessarily a bad thing, of course, but it's just that, like, at least in the presentation, like, the stages just feel like discount Street Fighter stages, like, where you have so much stuff you can draw from the comics and the 80s show, and none of it feels like it's it has characters from the franchise, don't get me wrong. It's just that the overall whereas I will argue the stages in this game feel much more creative because they take full advantage of the fact that it's in Dimension X. Just go out and come up with this really weird, like for example, a nice planet, then you see the mammoth there, and they do the whole Mirage planet that's just full of weird visuals and shit like that. Again, that delightful weirdness that is emblematic of the TMNT franchise is on full display here, and I don't really get that from the SNES game. Yeah, Triceratops. Okay, if I remember correctly, this second rematch against him lasts a bit longer, so you can see a bit more of his moves. I find it interesting how, like Jova said in the previous part, for whatever reason, we have to stop by the Triceratops planet instead of just going straight for Shredder. Don't really get that. I mean, I can understand having to fight the clones.
I think you mean Krang, because Shredder's not...
Yeah, you're right, Krang, sorry.
Instead, that's his daughter.
That is true.
Well,
my bad. But the point is, like, they have to fight Triceratops for reasons that are never properly explained. Go on.
Also, here's the thing. Because Karai, this one is heavily supposed to be based off her Mirage counterpart.
Yes.
She's not Shredder's daughter in that. She's just a random foot soldier.
Okay, then.
That wanted to take over as, like, Turtles, if you want the foot to stop causing damage, or ally yourselves to me, and I promise the Foot Clan will never cause any harm to you.
Oh, so it's kind of like how she's written the 2007 movie, kind of. Yeah, I can see that.
Apparently, she's don't quote me on this, but I felt like they were trying. She was basically the Electra.
Okay.
She also had sex with Casey Jones, but I was like,
let me put it this way.
Oh, so she NTR'd April.
Let me put it this way. I feel like okay, it would have made better sense if they made it so that after the clone shit, everything takes place in the Technodrome, and you have to fight Triceraton to get to the top floor where Krang is. That would have made more sense. But instead, they have this thing where, if you want to find your Master Splinter, you have to go through me first. So they have to go. And first of all, how is the Triceraton even able to communicate with them while they're in their spaceship? This isn't Star Trek. I'm pretty sure that the Triceraton doesn't have the technological means of communicating with a spaceship.
Yeah, I'm sure they do. They're aliens from space. Technology is different there.
And if worse comes to worse, we can just really chalk it up to Karai set it up.
Magic.
Yeah, Karai set all this up. Well, yeah, that's the big twist at the end. The Karai set all this up. I still don't understand why the hell Krang is taking orders from Karai, but...
Maybe Shredder eventually just made Krang his bitch and he told him, alright, well, I'm away. I need you to listen to what let's call her my daughter for now, says. I'll be back at 7. And Shredder's just taking a vacation from Turtle stuff.
And then, okay, I'm imagining now a story like that. And Karai takes advantage of it by having all of the henchmen do all the most menial tasks around. Right, you polish my boots. You hoover Shredder's bedroom. You make sure all my swords are shiny. Get to it.
Get to it.
I wouldn't mind reading a comic like that where it's just Karai bossing people around because she can.
That could be interesting. How is Karai in the IDW comics anyway? None.
He's not a good person.
Well, that's kind of the point.
So evil, of course.
No, because you see most incarnations of Karai try to be like, well, she has a sense of good in her, or especially the 2003 show that's like, you're not really a bad person, you're just too loyal to your dad because he saved your life. This one was like, oh no, she's a piece of garbage.
Neat.
She is
good change of pace.
She is perfectly fine with killing.
Speaking of her,
backstabbing.
Most impressive little turtles, but you'll have to
find me to save your.
We already read this, guys.
Master Splinter. Remember, I'm the one voicing it. And we already read it.
I love that phrasing. That sinks it. You're toast, Karai.
I mean, we barely know who you are, but yeah, we'll fight you on your job.
Well, like I said, that's the thing. I got introduced. Like I said, that's the thing. I got introduced to Karai via this game because when Karai suddenly showed up when I first played this game, I was like, "Who the hell is this?" Because remember, she wasn't the thing in the 80s show.
What was your reaction like? Oh my God, Shredder was actually a woman all along.
No, I didn't even associate her to Shredder because they don't even explain who she is. They just immediately assume that you already know who she is. So for a long time as a kid, before I got the internet, I never knew who the hell this character was.
It seems like a weird tactic to do.
So the idea, the idea of Karai being a genuinely evil doesn't bother me because I was introduced to an evil version of her. So.
I am perfectly fine with Karai being evil. Like, even as somebody like, I mean, let's be honest. She was evil half the time in the 2003 show anyway. She just flip-flopped a lot.
Like, I can imagine an interesting way of doing Karai would be like the Shredder dies and Karai takes over the Foot Clan, except Karai reveals herself to be much more merciless and cruel and inhuman with her methods than even Shredder is, and that would be a good way for the Turtles and Splinter to be put in a position that they've never been before, where like they're glad to get rid of the Shredder.
The idea with the TMNT 2007 movie.
Not really, because the 2007 movie doesn't really explain much of what happened in between 3 and 07. Not really.
But it has Karai, and you know.
Oh yeah, but Karai is not even
barely does anything. In that.
She barely does anything in that. That's the thing.
Besides that weird romantic gag that she might had with Casey at one point,
which I'm guessing is supposed to be a callback to the Mirage comic. Anyway, go ahead, Jova.
Can it be defeated by mere turtles?
Master Splinter. Thank you, my sons.
That's more in the Bay movies.
You are true warriors.
All right.
Cowabunga!
Listen soon.
And that's the end.
Wow.
So I gotta ask, was April just going through a phase with that outfit?
I don't know.
She just wanted to fight.
I get the feeling they really wanted a female fighter. So they went, okay.
No, I get that, but the outfit, like, she's seriously doing a Blaze cosplay.
Yeah, I don't get it either. Like, I'm guessing it's because they thought her raincoat would,
Granted, like,
sorry, not raincoat,
maybe Red was...
jumpsuit. I thought her jumpsuit would look awkward in the, like, as a fighting outfit. I don't know.
I suppose maybe red was her color in the Mirage comics. I wouldn't know.
Well, I don't know about the Mirage comics, but in the 03 series, she has a lab coat that's a traditional white lab coat, but beneath that, she has a red shirt. So there is that. Mm-hmm. But yeah, that was Teenage Mutant Ninja Turtles Tournament Fighters for the Sega Genesis. Dej, what do you think of this one?
It sure is an interesting fighting game to play one day.
Well, like I said, go on, sorry.
I do respect that they're able to take creative liberties and actually show off other planets and have a diverse roster.
Mm-hmm. Basically, yeah. Alright, Dwebs.
It sure looks like a fighting game.
Oh, yeah.
I mean, it's not a bad looking one by any means.
Yeah.
I mean, the story mode is really simplistic.
Well, it's a fighting game, so.
But you know, it gets the job done, and I mean, hell, I played a little bit of. I played a story mode of Street Fighter V recently.
I have to mention
that's
this.
not that much thingy. That's not much deeper than this one.
I'm listening to the voices in the sound test. I love how the 2 word for round 2 is that the narrator, if you listen to closely, he says stew instead of 2. So, okay.
Anything else?
Go on, Dos.
That's it really. It's a fighting game with turtles on it.
Mm-hmm. Alright, Jova.
Yes, this certainly looks like a fighting game, alright. I love how, as is tradition, of course, it boasts a new secret ending by beating it properly. And it is like 1 or 2 or 3 new portraits, and Karai just goes, ugh, I got beaten by the turtles. Well, now you know how your dad feels, honey. And I bet Shredder was just watching this all, enjoying his vacation from turtle action. That or just disappointment in his daughter after how far she came. I'll admit, this is a game I could see having a more fleshed out and remade plot in a later game. It's fine, it's interesting enough. Clone turtles, go beat them up along with all the bad guys. We only really got to see how Casey plays. I guess we also got to see the other enemies and whatnot. I'll admit, for as much as I harp about how weird April is, I dig her look and costume. I could totally see that being used in other stuff, honestly. She does a good Blaze cosplay.
Also, her voice.
Music is good.
I have to say, you just talk about April, you talk about her outfit. How about her voice? Like, so many of her grunts sound weirdly sexual. Like, huh? And when she wins, oh, yes.
So, yes, this game does its job. Enough said.
I'm showing off the practice mode, and yes, you have a taunt button. And in Leo's case, there's give me your best shot. Sorry, come on and fight. I'm thinking of Raf's line, sorry. Come on and fight. But yeah. And yeah, I'm fine. There you go. It always amuses me. As for me, no, I still have a soft spot for this one because, you know, I not only did I grow up with it, but it introduced me to Karai for the first time, so that was pretty cool.
She's cool.
So yeah, And yeah, I think it's a really solid fighting game for what it is. And like I said, I really do appreciate the fact that it fully embraces the inherent weirdness of the franchise and takes full advantage of it by we're going to Dimension X. I'm going to take advantage of that to come up with these really unique, creatively bizarre stages that feel like very much like see. Oh yes. I don't know why, but the delivery of that line feels. But yeah, so yeah, I really appreciate the stages in particular, because I really appreciate the stages, and I really like the visuals. The visuals do a good job capturing the look of TMNT, whereas, I mean, again, I'll be more specific when we get to that game, but I don't particularly care much for how the SNES game looks. I don't know, it just feels very... I'll put it this way, this one looks like you're looking at a TMNT comic / cartoon. So it feels very on brand. The other one feels very like, oh, it looks like your typical, again, it feels like a Street Fighter type game, but well, not Street Fighter, I guess, because Street Fighter looks like an anime, but the graphics overall, I think the overall art direction looks a bit less appealing because it looks less comic bookish / animated, and as a result, a bit less TMNT-ish for me, but that's me.
Honestly, I'd say you were on the mark comparing it to Street Fighter, because it does have kind of that Street Fighter look and feel to it.
It's okay. The characters are okay. The characters I'm fine with. It's more so the backgrounds, the stages that look so off-brand to me. They just look like Street Fighter type stages. The overall setting doesn't look even remotely like TMNT places. Whereas this one actually goes all out with the weirdness, as it should. So it's one of those things. But again, I'm gonna talk about more when we actually get to the SNES game. The point is, I enjoy it. It may not be as mechanically refined as the SNES game, but as a TMNT game, I will argue it's the overall better shot. Like if you're like me and you want to play a TMNT game that truly feels TMNT-ish, I do actually recommend this one over the SNES game. But if you want to prioritize fighting game mechanics, then definitely the SNES game, as I will demonstrate in the next part. But yeah, that's it. That's Tournament Fighter Genesis redone. Now it's with Jova here. I feel like we should be done with this. Next time we'll finally get around to the SNES game. So tune in next time for Tournament Fighters SNES.
Andy, see you then.
Bye.